The New York Rangers finished last season with 85 points. The season before, 114. That is a precipitous drop.
Honestly, 85 is a way bigger number than I thought you were going to say, considering how much of a carnival.
Well, the headlines around them were pretty bad. Now, I want to know what you guys think the over-under might be, because the Rangers are still talented. They're remade. Their culture is redone. They have a new captain. 114 points a couple years ago, 85 last year. Steve, we'll start with you.
I think people think they're going to be a fringe playoff team, so I'm going to go 95.5.
Jesse Blake.
I'm going to go 98.5.
For the first time, somebody nailed it. And his name is Steve Dangle.
Hey!
And by the way, the odds are even at 187 over 187 under, meaning that whatever you pick, that's the odds. And I'm curious about this because I think the New York Rangers, I think everybody thinks the New York Rangers are better than they were last year. I think, and this is why I'm taking the over, I think they're better than a 95.5 point team. I think they're, if the Rangers get 98 points, as Jesse kind of mentioned there, nobody's going to be like, well, that's shocking. And so I'm going over, but you got to tell me over or under first before you get into it.
Over.
Okay, Jesse.
Over.
Yeah. 3 overs. Okay.
Wow.
What were you going to say, Steve?
Their season started very well.
People forget that.
And I think a lot of what made the Rangers so bad last season was off ice, that trickled onto the ice. In absence of that this year, which it could be worse, but I'm going to err on the side of it's not going to be worse. They'll return to a team that's closer to what they were a couple years ago. Are they President's Trophy worthy? Are they great? Are they, still a Final Four Cup contender kind of team? I don't know. I'm going to go with no, but I think they're better. I think they make the playoffs.
Jesse, you pay particular attention to the Rangers, and I can remember specifically when we did our season previews last year, it was a conversation about how the Rangers, this might be it in terms of the Rangers in this era getting it done. They had gone to the conference finals the year before. They had lost to the Panthers. They did win 2 games against them. That's not an easy feat against the playoff Panthers team. But that was not enough for them. And what I find so interesting about this, Jess, is one of the things you said is, well, they're going to have to move more to a youth thing after this. And it seems like in some ways they have. In other ways, it's like, nah, we're going to double down on the old. And that starts with bringing in a guy like JT Miller, who objectively changes this franchise. I wanted to start there with you, Jess. What do you think about him being named captain? Why do you think he was named captain?
I think it's really going to help that JT Miller's the captain. You bring him in to be JT Miller. You bring him in for the off-ice energy that JT Miller always brings to the hockey rink. And them saying, hey, this is going to be our leader means that they want that energy that he has to be the ethos of the team. I think I really like their no BS shirts in training camp. I know a lot of fans around the league were making fun of them, but I think it's kind of a cool thing to do for a team that you wear these shirts so outwardly and you're telling everybody this is what we're going to be. So I don't know. I think it's going to really help the team having him for a full season and as captain.
What was a bigger factor in their downfall than bullshit?
Yeah, really.
They were a product of bullshit last year. So no BS or no bullshit. I mean, that's perfect for them.
And you mentioned like coming into last season, how we kind of talked about it. It was a last dance kind of vibe because of all the contracts were expiring. And we were right about it, except it played out in different ways.
Yes.
Right.
Where they had to get rid of everybody for the locker room reasons and the cap reasons, and everything just needed a different mix. And it truly was like big pieces leaving and a little bit of a changing of the guard, even though you do have the big dogs sticking around, obviously, and Panarin and Shesterkin and
Zibanejad.
And Zibanejad, and but you do lose Kreider and you lose Trouba and all of the drama.
And you totally screw up the dressing room in the meantime.
Right.
Now it's interesting. This is Shesterkin's first year as an $11.5 million goaltender, which he is rightly the highest paid. Last year, 905, 286. So 905 save percentage, 286 goals against average. Good numbers, not great numbers. For New York to do well this year, this is the guy. Like, I always hate when you have to ask that as a host. You're like, how important is he really? It's very clear that he's very important. My question goes a little deeper than that. What do we need to expect from him? Yes, he's got to be better. Yes, the New York Rangers need to be better. But if the Rangers are to have a good year, what's his save percentage line?
To me, it's not about save percentage. It's games stolen. Like games
stolen above expectation. Is that the stat?
And like, you don't want to make your goalie have to do that, right? Like, it's probably best practice to not have your goalie stop 38 of 40 and you win 3-2 every night. But he's being paid like it.
Yep.
He's, when it comes to the salary cap, the way it's dispersed throughout your team kind of indicates how important someone is. You're spending the most money on a goalie, the most money a goalie has ever made. Yeah, they have to be your best player. Okay.
Every time they're in the net.
Panarin, great. Panarin, I believe, makes hair more.
11-6.
Yeah, buddy, you're the highest paid goalie in the league. You got to look like it. And last season, he wasn't bad, but by the standard that is expected of him, yeah, he was.
For me, some of that blame rests on coaching. Last season, I don't think it was up to par, and I think this year it's going to be a lot better with Sullivan there. And if you just look at the numbers, shots against, the Rangers were 6th worst, so they allowed the 6th most shots against. The only teams below them, let me read you this murderer's row of good teams.
Monsters, I can't wait.
The Blue Jackets, which, all right. Then we get to the Penguins, Blackhawks, Sharks, and Ducks. You are amongst the worst teams in just defensive performance of not allowing these shots on your goaltender. I think with a little better defense, Shesterkin's going to automatically just look better.
Shockingly, none of the teams you mentioned, including the Rangers, made the playoffs last year.
Yeah, none of them.
Isn't that amazing?
It's crazy how you allow a bunch of shots and it doesn't lead to wins.
Now, I want to talk about the defense because it looks a lot younger than it did last year, and they made some really interesting pickups. First off, Adam Fox is 27 years old.
He's got to be better.
Vlad Gavrikov, who they just signed, is 29, although it feels like he's been around for eons. Will Borgen, who they picked up from Seattle last year and extended, is 28. That extension's looking pretty good, $4.1 million. That's not bad.
If he was a UFA this summer, holy cow.
Carson Soucy, I think he has his benefits, and he's solid 31. And Braden Schneider. Now, you can say that Vakanainen is going to get in there. Scott Morrow is going to get in there, that sort of thing. I think Andre Suster's there on a PTO. But I'm looking at that top 6, top 7 and going, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's pretty young. You mentioned the Adam Fox thing. This is a guy that won a Norris Trophy. People forget that.
And he wasn't that last year.
He might not even have been that the year before. He was good the year before, but I don't think he was Norris caliber. What's going on with him? What happened?
Well, I mean, he cost Team USA the overtime of the final at the Four Nation Faceoff. He blows his assignment. Matthews has to then compensate.
To quote Preds fans, it's all your fault.
It's all your fault.
Yeah.
McDavid's wide open and he snipes
It's
it.
funny how you make excuses for the Leaf.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody watching this video is going to notice that. Leafs do it over here. And like, it wasn't Matthews' fault.
Well, and I mean, it's just such a dart of a pass from current Leaf Mitch Marner.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Damn. Like, the Rangers have guys where the expectations are unreasonable because they should be. Shesterkin, for most goalies, it's unreasonable to be like, hey, you should be in the Vezina conversation every year. You make 11.5. For you, it's not. Adam Fox makes 9.5.
Yep.
9.5, and he's won a Norris Trophy. No, sorry. Like, in order for this to work, for this to be a functioning thing, you have to be in that conversation. I want to say it took him forever to score his first goal. And I know that's not his job necessarily to score goals. It's got to be a factor. It's got to be in your game.
I mean, this is a guy, he had 10 goals last year.
He ended up at 10. Okay.
He's gotten as high as 17. Like, he does score.
That's 17 to 10 is a big drop.
And he's regularly, I mean, for 3 straight years, he was 74, 72, and 73 in points. And then last year, 61. That's a big drop.
It is a big drop. And every drop matters. If, since you mentioned the Leafs, like they had the whole core 4 thing going on, they're spending an unbelievable amount on Shesterkin, an unbelievable amount on well, a little bit more believable amount on Fox, and an unbelievable amount on Panarin. All three of them had down years.
Mm-hmm.
And you're dead.
The team had a down year.
Yeah, the team had a down year, but if those three guys have a down year, you're dead, right? Totally. So I look at them, and there's a lot of room for improvement just by guys regressing to their career averages.
Jesse, when you look at this defense, no longer K-Andre Miller, Lindgren is gone. Schneider's going to get more of an opportunity.
Yep.
I want to talk about Gavrikov, though. He was the big sort of offseason pickup. We saw a lot of his play in Los Angeles over the last couple of years, Columbus before that. But, they picked him up in L.A. to hopefully get through Edmonton. It didn't quite work out that way. But this is a guy that New York has put a lot of faith in and a lot of years behind. What do you think he brings that maybe they didn't have last year?
Yeah, the only place I'd correct you on the getting younger thing is they go from 25-year-old Miller to 29-year-old Gavrikov, right? They swap those positions because they feel like Gavrikov is going to lend his game better to Adam Fox, right? They have now a solid top pairing, and I think that's what they want to run out there. And that's, I think, a better allocation of the money as opposed to paying K-Andre Miller almost the same amount. I think it was $7 million Carolina paid him, and it's 7.5 that Gavrikov got. So they're thinking this is just a better fit for our team right now. And I think because they are always in win now mode in this window here, where they're not like chasing the young prospects and developing, I think Gavrikov's gonna get them to a place where they can win in the playoffs better than K-Andre Miller could in the previous years and would this season if he was on the team.
Yeah, because they didn't want to bet on him the way Carolina did.
Exactly.
The bar that Gavrikov has to crawl over is like, he's in a great spot. Like Miller had a down year. Lindgren had a catastrophic year, and he's just got to be better than one of them in order for them to be better.
Things started to work out when Will Borgen showed up. Like, I feel like they started to turn the corner in terms of where this team was going. I thought that was the first positive acquisition they had made, or first positive change.
It's kind of funny who ends up tying the room together. Who was the defenseman Montreal got? And just everything started to get better. Carrier. And there's another guy who, like, that's who turned.
But it does sometimes,
Yeah, it sounds like such a cop-out. But with the Rangers, I think so much comes down to, we just get rid of last year. These are competent hockey players and a competent hockey team. They'll be fine. But last year was a gong show.
I'm looking at a couple of key guys going into the season. We already mentioned JT Miller. There's two more on forward I want to really highlight here in this preview because, you could do an hour on each team and we can't.
Sure.
Artemi Panarin, last year of his deal. What's so interesting about Artemi Panarin is that his agent is the same agent as the guy that just turned down the 8-year, $128 million contract. Both of these guys could be free agents by next summer. Artemi Panarin already made 11.6. Mm-hmm. I wonder what he would make. Down year, needs to have a good year, wants a big extension, loves it in New York. Jesse, I want to go to you. What has he got to do to show us at 33 years old, going into year 34, that he's still worth enormous amounts of money?
Yeah, I want that season that he had in 24 where it was 120 points and almost 50 goals. It felt just short. Like, he has that in him, and I think Panarin in a contract year, they're going to get that out of him. Like, I have high hopes for Panarin this season. And I think when they're talking about this contract moving forward, I'm in the mode of like, pay him because he's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any evidence to show that he's not going to be worth keeping around, especially this team where you need that type of scoring and they need this player, unless you're going to bring in Kaprizov just as a replacement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, hey, listen, the Rangers would.
Yeah, honestly, like, there's a chance if the agent just wants to swap players or something, But I think like that 24 season, the 23-24 season that he had, I want that again. Prove it in a contract year.
It'd be great, but like, he doesn't even need to get up to that. Like, last year was his worst scoring rate as a Ranger. Like, he's had some truly incredible seasons, and maybe they don't get talked about as much because they were cut short. Mm-hmm. Like, he has 1 year, his first year as a Ranger, he had 95 points. He only played 69 games. The next year, he had 58 points. He only played 42. Mm-hmm. 89 is a lot of points. it's not enough if that's what you make.
Alexis,
it's a theme, right? Like no one played up to their standard.
Alexis Lafreniere in 23-24 had
another one.
what seemed to be a breakout season. This is why I wanted to talk about these two guys. 82 games, 57 points, but more importantly in the playoffs, 16 games, 14 points, 8 of those goals. Imagine we had a Leaf that could do that. That's phenomenal numbers. Last year, 17 goals, 28 assists, 45 points. So that's a 12-point drop. I want to know from the two of you, is Alexis Lafreniere the guy that they drafted him to be, or is he 60 point to 70 point guy and that's just what he is?
Barry Trotz with the Nashville Predators talked about the doubters being wrong, or the doubters being right 2 years in a row. Let's try to make it a third. This is how I feel about Alexis Lafreniere. I doubted him. He had that big playoff. I believed in him. I'm like, watch, he's going to break out this year. He was super mid. And I'm afraid to say, no, Adam, he's just some guy.
Some guy is 70 points is not some guy territory. 60 to 70 points is still pretty good. But is it
not first overall
level?
Pick territory?
No, and especially what they're paying him.
Right.
Which is pretty significant, I think. $7.45 million. You need a little more than that.
I think it is a super safe bet that literally everyone who was a Ranger last year will have a better season this year.
Jesse, do you agree or disagree? You've been a big Lafreniere booster in the past.
I think we need to detach him from where he was drafted. I think it's enough time where we know the pick value of first overall. He's not that player if you're talking about the area of McDavid, Matthews, and the such of the great first overall picks. Like, he is a
Leaf fan threw Matthews in there.
He's a $7 million player. Is what he is right now, and those expectations on him is that he'll be a 30-goal scorer in this league. And that's not, if you're still of the mind out there and Rangers fan, you're like, this guy's a first overall pick. He's fucking failing below expectations. You're always going to be upset. Yeah. Like, you're going to be upset really from now into infinitum. You're done. Like, let's move on from that and let's just evaluate what the NHL talent we have now is, because they're paying him at that rate. They're not paying him $14 million.
No.
So if he can put up 30 goals this season, or at least high 20s, I'm so satisfied with him, because I think he has that potential and I think he's going to do it.
Okay, so that brings us to the ranking in the division. This is a tougher division, I think, this year than it certainly was last year with the injuries and the surprise Rangers fall and whatever. Rangers 2 years ago were the number one team in the league. Last year, not so great. Where do you have them this year? 4.
Oh,
okay.
4. Yeah, really hard to evaluate. But if I'm saying literally everyone on the team is going to be better, and last year they were still in the hunt despite everything being a disaster, I think they'll make the playoffs. They'll be 4th.
Jesse Blake.
I have them 3rd in the division.
Okay.
I have them locked in at 4th as well, and I think they are locked to make the playoffs. They should be in the playoffs this year. This team's just too darn good. The only reason I don't have them ranked higher is because of last year, right? I think that there is a team that I have ranked at 3rd that I'm not convinced is good enough to be there. But until the Rangers show me that they're better than this team, I have to put them ahead of the Rangers.
I think Rangers fans in the comments might notice that there were a lot of criticisms in this video, but it's because we're all three of us holding them to the standard of 2 years ago and not last year.
Yeah.
We think 2 years ago is closer to what they are.
That's your New York Rangers season preview.